Matt. Am I live? Am I live? Is this thing on? Hello? Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm here. I am here. I swear I'm here. You should be here. Right. What am I looking for? Finally, yes, I am here. I haven't changed the thing from last time, because I'm a dingus doofus. Give me a minute. I'll stay. Get rid of that. Open up my editing software. Not that one. Yes, hello. What was this crazy world? Sandwich. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Tom Lehrer music. Because Tom Lehrer music is in the public domain. Albums, here we go. I'm just going to quickly download them all. You can't see chat.exe. Hang on, I'll sort that. Wait a minute. Go, there's chat.exe. Let me just also... Of course, that's not going to work. That's the one. Don't accidentally dox my real name. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to open the first segment first. Why is slow mode on for chat? Because of what happened last time. Eminem Geagle, welcome to the stream, how you doing? I am a great dingus doofus. Hitmilm has decided to stop responding for the first time tonight. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go on OBS quick, and I'm going to make that a counter as well. Close that. Let me just... Okay, let's go. Text. I'll just update that one manually as and when it happens. Only really know me from the Old Inaccuracy series. Well, I make these streams. I aim for about 3 a week. Right now I'm working on editing someone else's video. I also need to change the now playing, don't I? Now playing not applicable. Right. I was going to do a add directory, desktop, there we go. Oh, it's a bit loud. So yes, this is Tom Lehrer music, all of which is in the public domain, so there's no... Even if YouTube copyright claims me, I can dispute it because it's all in the public domain. So hopefully it's not too loud now. One, two... You might know some of these songs, actually. Oh, stop it.
Since I still appreciate you, let's find love while we may. Because I know I'll hate you when you are old and gray. So say you love me here and now. I'll make the most of that.
Here we go.
Say you love and trust me, for I know you'll disgust me when you're old and getting fat.
Oof.
An awful debility, a lessened utility, a loss of mobility is a strong possibility. In all probability, I'll lose my virility, and you your fertility and desirability. And this liability of total sterility will lead to hostility and a sense of futility. So let's act with agility while we still have facility, for we'll soon reach senility and lose the ability. Your teeth will start to go, dear. Your waist will start to spread. In 20 years or so, dear, I'll wish that you were dead. I'll never love you then at all the way I do today.
See.
So please remember when I leave in December, I told you so in May.
Here we go. Got that.
I hold your hand in mine, dear. I press it to my lips. I take a healthy
Oh, but I do wish the...
bite from your dainty fingertips. My joy would be complete.
Gotta throw some more videos into Stasher.
But still I keep your hand as a precious souvenir. The night you died, I cut it off. I really don't know why. For now each time I kiss it,
That's it.
Do you remember the night I held you so tight as we danced to the Wiener Schnitzel waltz?
There's spaghetti all over the floor.
And the setting was Viennese. Your hair wore some roses, or perhaps they were peonies. I was blind to your obvious faults as we danced across the scene to the strains of the Wiener Schnitzel waltz.
Now I have to sort by date.
Oh, I drank some champagne from your shoe, la la la. I was drunk by the time I got through, la la la. For I didn't know, as I raised that cup, it had taken 2 bottles to fill the thing up. It was I who stepped on your dress, la la la. The skirts all came off, I confess, la la la. Revealing for all of the others to see just what it was that endeared you to me. I remember the night I held you so tight as we danced to the Wiener Schnitzel waltz. Your lips were like wine, if you'll pardon the simile. The music was lovely and quite Rudolph Frimley. I drank wine, you drank chocolate malts. And we both turned quite green to the strains of the Wiener Schnitzel waltz.
I know that Larry sentenced me over Discord. You didn't hear that, by the way. Where is it? It's here, spring is here, love is close and life is beer.
I think the loveliest
The year
time of
is
the
the
year is
spring.
the spring. I do, don't you? Of course you do. What there's one thing that makes
Wait
spring
for me.
complete for me, and makes every Sunday
Read for
a treat
me. All the world seems in tune. Doo-doo, as we poisoning pigeons in the park.
Every Sunday you'll see my sweetheart
As we
and me
poison pigeons in the park.
pigeons in the park. When they see us coming,
We all try and hide
try and hide, but they still
peanuts
go for
when
peanuts
coated with cyanide.
The sun
Right.
is shining bright. Everything
Right as
seems
we
all right
poison the
when we're
pigeons in the park.
in the park.
Na na na, na na na.
We've gained notoriety
Mm,
and caused
diety.
much anxiety in the Audubon Society with our games. They call it impiety and
Oh, propriety.
propriety and quite a variety
What's
of
it names?
But it's not against any
You could just call Tom Lehrer.
to want to dispose of
Han.
so
Mm.
if Sunday you're free, why don't
He
you
has
come
me
with me
poison
and
the
we'll
pigeons
poison
in the
the pigeons
park.
in the park. And maybe we'll do in a squirrel or
We're
two
poisoning
while we're
pigeons in
poisoning
the
pigeons
park.
in the park. We'll murder them all amid laughter and merriment, except for the few
You
we
to
take home
experiment.
My pulse will be quickening
We're
with
stricken
each
in
drop of
park.
strychnine we feed
in
to a pigeon.
The
It just
pigeon.
takes a smidgen to
Pigeon in the park.
park. Bright college days, oh carefree days that fly. To thee we sing with our glasses raised on high. Let's drink a toast as each of us recalls ivy-covered professors in ivy-covered halls. Turn on the spigot, pour the beer and swig it, and gaudeamus igitt a tour. Here's to parties we tossed, to the games that we lost. We shall claim that we won them someday. To the girls young and sweet, to to the spacious back seat of our roommate's beat-up Chevrolet.
Let me see.
To the beer and benzodrine, to the way that the dean tried so hard to be pals with us all, to excuses we fibbed, to the papers we cribbed from the genius who lived down the hall, to the tables down at Maury's, wherever that may be. Let us drink a toast to all we love the best. We will sleep through all the lectures and cheat on the exams, and we'll pass and be forgotten with the rest. Oh, soon we'll be out amid the cold world's strife. Soon we'll be sliding down the razor blade of life. Ooh. But as we go our sordid separate ways, we shall ne'er forget thee, thou golden college days. Hearts full of youth, hearts full of truth, 6 parts gin to 1 part vermouth.
6 parts gin to 1 part vermouth.
Christmas time is here, by golly, disapproval would be folly. Deck the halls with hunks of holly, fill the cup and don't say when. Kill the turkeys, ducks, and chickens, mix the punch, drag out the dickens. Even though the prospect sickens, brother, here we go again. On Christmas Day you can't get sore, your fellow man you must adore. There's time to rob him all the more, the other 306 a day afore. Relations sparing no expensel, send some useless old utensil, or a matching pen and pencil, just the thing I need. How nice. It doesn't matter how sincere it is, nor how heartfelt the spirit. Sentiment will not endear it. What's important is the price. Hark the Herald Tribune sings, advertising wondrous things. God rest ye merry merchants, may ye make the Yuletide pay. Angels we have heard on high tell us to go out and buy. So let the raucous sleigh bells jingle, hail our dear old friend Kris Kringle, driving his reindeer across the sky. Don't stand underneath when they fly by.
Ah, this is the one that everybody knows. There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and I should probably rehearse this song before trying to sing it at all.
There's yttrium, ytterbium, actinium, rubidium, boron, gadolinium, niobium, iridium, strontium,
Ransomarium, and silver, beryllium, and barium.
There's holmium and helium and hafnium and erbium and phosphorus and francium and fluorine and terbium and manganese and mercurium and magnesium,
sodium and cesium and lead, praseodymium, polonium, palladium, potassium, potassium, polonium.
Cadmium and calcium and chromium and curium. There's sulfur, californium and fermium, berkelium, and also mendelevium, einsteinium, nobelium, and argon, krypton, neon, radon, xenon, zinc, and rhodium, and chlorine, carbon, cobalt, copper, tungsten, tin, and sodium. These are the only ones of which the news has come to Harvard, and they may be
Haven't been discovered. Boom, boom, boom. To the popular song, there is one thing that we find right along. We hail as good. The most sublime is motherhood. Know who it seems once carried this idea to extremes. He loved his mother and she loved him, yet his story is rather grim. Not complex. His name appears in Freud's index because he loved his mother.
His rivals used to say quite a bit that
Most unfit. They had to admit that he loved his mother. He loved his mother like no other. And the sister and his son was his brother. On which you can depend is who a boy's best friend is.
When he found what he had done, he tore his eyes out one by one. A tragic end to a loyal son who loved his mother. So be
Mother, now and then have a chat.
buy her candy
Or a brand new hat. You had better let it go at that. You might find yourself with a quite complex complex.
and you may end up like Oedipus. I'd rather marry a duck-billed
Then end up like old Oedipus Rex.
When it's fiesta time in Guadalajara, then I long to be back once again in old Mexico, where we lived for today, never giving a thought to tomorrow. To the strumming of guitars in 100 grubby bars, I would whisper te amo. The mariachis would serenade, and they would not shut up till they were paid. We ate, we drank, and we were merry, and we got typhoid and dysentery. Oh, but best of all, we went to the Plaza de Toros. Now whenever I start feeling morose, I revive by recalling that scene. And names like Belmonte, Dominguin, and Manolete. If I live to 180, I shall never forget what they mean. For there is surely nothing more beautiful in this world than the sight of a lone man facing single-handedly a half a ton of angry pot roast. Out came the matador, who must have been potted or slightly insane, but who looked rather bored. Then the picadors, of course, each one on his horse. I shouted, hooray, every time one was gored. I cheered at the banderilleros display as they stuck the bull in their own clever way, for I hadn't had so much fun since the day my brother's dog Rover got run over.
Poof.
Rover was killed by a Pontiac, and it was done with such grace and artistry that the witnesses awarded the driver both ears and the tail.
Let me see.
But I digress. The moment had come, I swallowed my gum. We knew there'd be blood on the sand pretty soon. The crowd held its breath, hoping that death would brighten an otherwise dull afternoon. At last, the matador did what we wanted him to. He raised his sword and his aim was true. In that moment of truth, I suddenly knew that someone had stolen my wallet. Now it's fiesta time in
Okay.
Akron, Ohio. But it's back to old Guadalajara I'm longing to go. Far away from the strikes of the AFL and the CIO. How I wish I could get back to the land of the wetback and forget the Alamo.
Yeah, just ignore that line.
Old Mexico. Ole! I should like to expound briefly on a theory I have held for some time to the effect that the reason most folk songs are so atrocious is that they were written by the people. And if professional songwriters had written them instead, things might have turned out considerably differently. For example, consider the old favorite, Clementine, you know. In a cavern, in a canyon, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. A song with no recognizable merit whatsoever. And imagine what might have happened if, for example, Cole Porter had tried writing this song. The first verse might have come out like this. In a cavern, in a canyon, excavating for a mine, far away from the boom, boom, boom of the city. She was so pretty, what a pity, Clementine.
Let me see.
Oh, Clementine, can't you tell from the howls of me? This love of mine calls to you from the bowels of me. Are you discerning the returning of this churning, burning, yearning for you?
It should now be patently obvious who I'm editing this for, by the way.
That Mozart, or one of that crowd, had tried writing a verse. The next one might have come out as a baritone aria from an Italian opera, somewhat along these lines. Era leggera e come un ferry, e sue shoes numero 9. Herring boxes senza topses sandale. Per Clementina sì, per Clementina sì, per Clementina sandale, per Clementina sandale, per Clementina. Clementina, Clementina,
Yes, it is.
Herring boxes senza tops sandale per Clementina. Herring boxes senza tops sandale per Clementina. Che sciagura Clementina, che sciagura Clementina, cara Clementina, cara.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah, it's out of the bag now. It's out of the bag now, and I'm really, really stoked to be doing this editing project. Hi, Laurie.
School of composers had tried writing this. Might have come out like
Yeah, yes, I let Vixie know previously. Hang on, I'm gonna be clever with this.
drove those ducklings to the water, yep, rock, doodle-doo-doo, every morning like 9 a.m. Oop,
Let me see. I want.
Got hung up on a splinter, klug 'em up. Fell into the foamy brine, dig that crazy Clementine man. And to end on a happy note, one can always count on Gilbert and Sullivan for a rousing finale, full of words and music and signifying nothing. That I missed her, depressed her young sister named Esther. This Mr. to pester she'd try.
I know. I know, Earth.
Blister, you'd best resist her, say I. The mister resisted, the sister persisted. I kissed her, all loyalty slipped. When she said I could have her, her sister's cadaver must surely have turned in its crypt. Yes, 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 yes. But I love she and she loves me. Enraptured are the both of we. Yes, I love she and she loves I. And will through all eternity. See what I mean?
Yeah.
When the shades of night are falling, comes a fellow everyone knows. It's the old dope peddler, spreading joy wherever he goes.
gonna get rid of this. I'm not gonna get rid of the slow mode yet, just because, you know, conscious of bots.
That today's young innocent faces will be tomorrow's clientele. Here's a cure for all your trouble. Here's an end to all distress. It's the old dope peddler with his powdered happiness. The heart of every man in our platoon must swell with pride for the nation's youth, the cream of which is marching at his side. For the fascinating rules and regulations that we share, and the quaint and curious costumes that we're called upon to wear. Now Al joined up to do his part, defending you and me. He wants to fight and bleed and kill and die for liberty. With the hell of war, he's come to grips, policing up the filter tips. It makes a fella proud to be a soldier. When Pete was only in the 7th grade, he stabbed a cop. He's real RA material, and he was glad to swap his switchblade and his old zip gun for a bayonet and a new M1. It makes a fella proud to be a soldier. After Johnny got through basic training, he was a soldier through and through, and he was done. Its effects were so well rooted that the next day he saluted a good humor man, an usher, and a nun. Now Fred's an intellectual, brings a book to every meal. He likes the deep philosophers, like Norman Vincent Peale. He thinks the army's just the thing because he finds it broadening. It makes a fella proud to be a soldier.
I'm gonna make it do a funny sort of dive out of shot.
Now Ed flunked out of 2nd grade and never finished school. He doesn't know a shelter half from an entrenching tool, but he's going to be a big success. He heads his class at OCS. It makes a fella proud to be a soldier. Our old mess sergeant's taste buds had been shot off in the war, but his savory collations add to our esprit de corps. To think of all the marvelous ways they're using plastics nowadays, it makes a fella proud to be a soldier. Our lieutenant is the up-and-coming type. Played with soldiers as a boy, you just can bet. It is written in the stars, he will get his captain's bars, but he hasn't got enough box tops yet. Our captain has a handicap to cope with, sad to tell. He's from Georgia, and he doesn't speak the language very well. He used to be, so rumor has, the dean of men at Alcatraz. It makes a fella proud to be what as a kid I vowed to be. What luck to be allowed to be a soldier. At ease.
Here we go. Lobster, how you doing? Yeah, thanks to my editing and composite shot.
Sharks gotta swim, and bats gotta fly. I gotta love one woman till I die. To Ed or Dick or Bob, she may be just a slob, but to me, well, she's my girl. In winter, the bedroom is one large ice cube, and she squeezes the toothpaste from the middle of the tube. Her hairs in the sink have driven me to drink, but she's my girl. She's my girl. She's my girl. And I love her. The girl that I lament for. The girl my money's spent for. The girl my back is bent for. The girl I owe the rent for. The girl I gave up Lent for. Is the girl that heaven meant for me. So though for breakfast she makes coffee that tastes like shampoo, I come home for dinner and get peanut butter stew. Or if I'm in luck, it's broiled hockey puck. But oh well. What the hell? She's my girl,
source is this. This is... Oh, I love this one too. Ache for the touch of your lips, dear. But more for the touch of your whips, dear. You can raise welts like nobody else as we dance to the masochism tango. Be a flame, not an ember. Me that you want to dismember. My eye, fire to my tie as we dance to the masochism tango. A man before you, here I stand. Hand. Ugh. Here that I must be. Which beats when you on your cleats. Then pull me. Or mahogany. That's why I'm in such exquisite agony. Is on fire. The desire is why I perspire when we tango. My nose, your left stunnet love.
I can feel the pain yet love every time I hear drums, and I envy the rose that you held in your teeth, love, with the thorns underneath, love, sticking into your gums. Your eyes cast a spell
Witches, last time I needed 13 stitches.
to sew up the gash that you made
Mash
with your lash as
to
we
the
dance
masochism tango.
Bash
Rain,
my brain and make
pain,
me scream with pain.
be once again,
Once again,
never part,
I know too well
beneath your spell.
your spell. So darling, if you
Something
smell
burning, it's my heart.
my heart, excuse me, take your cigarette
Shoulder,
holder and burn
needles in my shoulder. Fracture my spine and swear that you're mine. We dance to the masochism tango. Is kawaii do only when I'm editing?
When you attend a funeral, it is sad to think that sooner or later those you love will do the same for you. And you may have thought it tragic, not to mention other adjectives, to think of all the weeping they will do. But don't you worry, no more ashes, no more sackcloth, and an armband made of black cloth will someday nevermore adorn a sleeve. For if the bomb
There we go, that'll do it. Right, okay, so.
gets your friends and neighbors too, there'll be nobody left behind to grieve, and we will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know. Universal bereavement, an inspiring achievement. Yes, we all will go together when we go. We will all go together when we go. All suffused with an incandescent glow. No one will have the endurance to collect on his insurance. Lloyds of London will be loaded when they go. We will all fry together when we fry. We'll be French fried potatoes by and by. There will be no more misery when the world is our rotisserie. Yes, we all will fry together when we fry. Down by the old maelstrom, there'll be a storm before hunks of well-done steak. Oh, we will all char together when we char, and let there be no moaning of the bar. Just sing out a Te Deum when you see that ICBM, and the party will be come as you are. We will all burn together when we burn. There'll be no need to stand and wait your turn. When it's time for the fallout and St. Peter calls us all out, we'll just drop our agendas and adjourn. You will all go directly to your respective Valhallas. Go directly, do not pass go, do not collect $200. And we will all go together when we go. Every Hottentot and every Eskimo. When the air becomes Uranus, we will all go simultaneous. Yes, we all will go together when we all go together. Yes, we all will go together when we go.
I love my friends, and they love me. We're just as close as we can be. And just because we really care, whatever we get, we share. I got it from Agnes, she got it from Jim. We all agree it must have been Louise who gave it to him. Now she got it from Harry, who got it from Marie. And everybody knows that Marie got it from me.
Giles got it from Daphne. She got it from Joan, who picked it up.
Or I could kiss in the Blarney Stone.
Pierre gave it to Sheila, who must have brought it there. He got it from Francois.
Aha! Lucky Pierre.
Lucky Pierre.
From Edith, who gets it every spring. And her daddy, who just gives her everything.
She then gave it to Daniel, whose spaniel had
Our dentist even got it, and we're still wondering how. But I got it from Agnes, or maybe it was Sue, or Millie, or Billy, or Jilly, or Willie. It doesn't matter who. It might have been at the pub, or at the club, or in the loo. You will be my friend, and I might. Mind you, I said might. Give it to you. Doodle doo doodle doo doo dum.
counting sheep when you're trying to sleep, being fair. When there's something to share, being neat. When you're folding a sheet, that's mathematics. When a ball bounces off of a wall, when you cook from a recipe book, when you know how much money you owe, that's mathematics. How much gold can you hold in an elephant's ear? When it's noon on the moon, then what time is it here? If you could count for a year, would you get to infinity or somewhere in that vicinity? When you choose how much postage to use, when you know what's the chance it will snow, when you bet and you end up in debt. Oh, try as you may, you just can't get away from mathematics. Tap your feet, keep in time to a beat of a song while you're singing along, harmonize with the rest of the guys. Yes, try as you may, you just can't get away from mathematics.
Where is it?
Be prepared. That's the Boy Scouts marching song. Be prepared. As through life you march along, be prepared to hold your liquor pretty well. Don't write naughty words on walls if you can't spell.
If you
Be
can
prepared to cigarettes, don't make book. If you cannot cover bets, keep those reefers hidden where you're sure that they will not be found. And be careful not to smoke them when the scoutmaster's around, for he only will insist that they be shared. Be prepared. Be prepared. That's the Boy Scout's solemn creed. Be prepared. And be clean in word and deed. Don't solicit for your sister. That's not nice. Unless you get a good percentage of her price. Be prepared. And be careful not to do your good deeds when there's no one watching you. If you're looking for adventure of a new and different kind, and you come across a Girl Scout who is similarly inclined, don't be nervous, don't be flustered, don't be scared. Be prepared. Along the trail you'll find me loping, where the spaces are wide open in the land of the old AEC. Yahoo! Where the scenery's attractive and the air is radioactive. Oh, the Wild West is where I wanna be. Mid the sagebrush and the cactus, I'll watch the fellas practice dropping bombs through the clean desert breeze. Yahoo! I'll have on my sombrero, and of course I'll wear a pair of Levi's over my lead BVDs. I will leave the city's rush, leave the fancy and the plush, leave the snow and leave the slush and the crowds. I will seek the desert's hush, where the scenery is lush. How I long to see the lush room of clouds. Mid the yuccas and the thistles, I'll watch the guided missiles while the old FBI watches me. Yahoo! Yes, I'll soon make my appearance, soon as I can get my clearance, 'cause the Wild West is where I wanna be.
Sure, let's do something cute with them.
I wanna go back to Dixie. Take me back to dear old Dixie. That's the only little old place for little old me. Old times they are not forgotten. Whooping slaves and selling cotton and waiting for the Robert E. Lee. It was never there on time. I'll go back to the Swanee, where pellagra makes you scrawny and the honeysuckle
There we go.
Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please, research. And ever since I meet this man, my life is not the same. And Nikolai Ivanovich Lobachevsky is his name. Hi, Nikolai Ivanovich Lobachevsky. I am never forget the day I'm given first original paper to write. It was on analytic and algebraic topology of local Euclidean metrization of infinitely differentiable Riemannian manifold. Боже мой. This, I know, from nothing. What I'm going to do. I think of great Lobachevsky and I get the idea. I have a friend in Minsk who has a friend in
I like this one too.
whose friend in Omsk has friend in Tomsk with friend in Akmolinsk. His friend in Alexandrovsk has friend in Petropavlovsk, whose friend somehow is solving now
Petrovsk.
in Dnepropetrovsk. And when his work is
Haha, begins the fun. From Dnipropetrovsk to Petropavlovsk, Vivilisku, Novorossiysk to Alexandrovsk to Akmolinsk to Tomsk to Omsk to Pinsk to Minsk. To me the news will run. Yes, to me the news will run. And I write by morning, night, and afternoon, and pretty soon my name in Dnipropetrovsk is cursed. And he finds out I publish first.
And who made me a big success and brought me wealth and fame? Nikolai Ivanovich Lobachevsky is his name. Hi, Nikolai Ivanovich Lobachevsky. I never forget the day my first book is published. Every chapter I stole from somewhere else. Index I copied from old Vladivostok telephone directory. This book was sensational. Pravda. Well, Pravda said Gilbert Kalorika dat в нем лоха жила, it stinks. But Izvestia. Izvestia said я иду куда сам царь идет пешком. It stinks. Metro Goldwyn Moskva buys the movie rights for 6 million rubles, changing title to The Eternal Triangle, with Ingrid Bergman playing part of Hypotenuse. And who deserves the credit and who deserves the blame? Nikolai Ivanovich Lobachevsky is his name. Hey!
Oh, this is another one I love. You know, I'll sing a song, sing rickety-tickety-tin, about a maid. I'll sing a song who didn't have her family long. Not only did she do them wrong, she did every one of them in. She did every one of them in.
One morning in a fit of pique, sing rickety-tickety-tin. One morning in a fit of pique, she drowned her father in the creek. The water tasted bad for a week, and we had to make
Gin with gin, we had to make do with gin. And she could never stand, sing rickety-tickety-tin. Her mother she could never stand, and so a cyanide soup she planned. Her mother died with a spoon in her hand, and her face in a hideous grin, a grin. Her face in a hideous grin. Sister's hair on fire, rickety-tickety-tin. She set her sister's hair on fire, and as the smoke and flame rose higher, danced around the funeral pyre, playing the violin, playing the violin. She wetted her brother down with stones, rickety-tickety-tin. She wetted her brother down with stones and sent him off to Davy Jones. All he ever found was some bones, or occasional pieces of skin, occasional pieces of skin.
One day when she had nothing to do, rickety-tickety-tin. One day when she had nothing to do, she
Brother in two, and served him up as an Irish stew. Invited the neighbours in, the neighbours in. Police came by, a rickety-tickety-tin, and when at last the police came by, her little prank she did not deny. You don't have to lie. A lion she knew was a sin, a sin. A lion she knew was a sin. My tragic tale I won't prolong, rickety-tickety-tin. My tragic tale I won't prolong, and if you do not enjoy my song, yourselves to blame if it's too long. You should never have let me begin. You should never have let me begin.
I always will remember, 'twas a year ago November, I went out to hunt some deer on a morning bright and clear. I went and shot the maximum the game laws would allow. 2 game wardens, 7 hunters, and a cow. I was in no mood to trifle. I took down my trusty rifle and went out to stalk my prey. What a haul I made that day. I tied them to my fender and I drove them home somehow. 2 game wardens, 7 hunters, and a cow. The law was very firm, it took away my permit, the worst punishment I ever endured. It turned out there was a reason, cows were out of season, and one of the hunters wasn't insured. People ask me how I do it, and I say there's nothing to it. You just stand there looking cute, and when something moves, you shoot. And there's 10 stuffed heads in my trophy room right now. 2 game wardens, 7 hunters, and a purebred Guernsey cow. I really have a yen to go back once again, back to the place where no one wears a frown, to see once more those super special, just plain folks in my hometown. No fellow could ignore the little girl next door. She sure looked sweet in her first evening gown. Now there's a charge for what she used to give for free in my hometown. I remember Dan, the druggist on the corner. He was never mean or ornery, he was swell. He killed his mother-in-law and ground her up real well, and sprinkled just a bit over each banana split. The guy that taught us math, who never took a bath, acquired a certain measure of renown. And after school he sold the most amazing pictures in my hometown. That fellow was no fool who taught our Sunday school, and neither was our kindly Parson Brown. I guess I better leave this line out just to be on the safe side. In my hometown, I remember Sam. He was the village idiot, and though it seems a pity it was so, he loved to burn down houses just to watch the glow. And nothing could be done because he was the mayor's son. The guy that took a knife and monogrammed his wife, then dropped her in the pond and watched her drown. Oh yes indeed, the people there are just plain folks in my hometown. Fight fiercely, Harvard, fight, fight, fight. Demonstrate to them our skill, albeit they possess the might.
I've just realised that it started looping.
The crimson dawn be of stout heart and true.
Let me just get the second one. Right, hang on. A directory. Add files rather than. Hang on a minute, let me get another. Let's get another album actually. Whoop. I might need to minimize OBS briefly. Let me see. I'm going to have to be very careful with this, aren't I? I'm going to have to very specifically add the ones we've not heard yet. That one, that one. We've had that one, we've had that one, we've had that one. That one, that one, that one, that one. That one, that one, that one, that one. We've had. That one we've had.
One week of every year is designated National Brotherhood Week. This is just one of many such weeks honoring various worthy causes.
One of my favorites is National Make Fun of the Handicapped Week, which Frank Fontaine and Jerry Lewis are in charge of, as you know.
Right, okay.
During National Brotherhood Week, various special events are arranged to drive home the message of brotherhood. This year, for example, on the first day of the week, Malcolm X was killed, which gives you an idea of how effective the whole thing is. I'm sure we all agree that we ought to love one another, and I know there are people in the world who do not love their fellow human beings, and I hate people like that. Here's a song about National Brotherhood Week. Oh, the white folks hate the black folks, and the black folks hate the white folks. To hate all but the right folks is an old established rule, but during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, Lena Horne and Sheriff Clark are dancing cheek to cheek. It's fun to eulogize the people you despise, as long as you don't let them in your school. Oh, the poor folks hate the rich folks, and the rich folks hate the poor folks. All of my folks hate all of your folks. It's American as apple pie. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, New Yorkers love the Puerto Ricans 'cause it's very chic. Step up and shake the hand of someone you can't stand. You can tolerate him if you try. Oh, the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, it's national, everyone smile at one anotherhood week. Be nice to people who are inferior to you. It's only for a week, so have no fear. Be grateful that it doesn't last all year. A considerable amount of commotion was stirred up during the past year over the prospect of a multilateral force known to the headline writers as MLF. Much of this discussion took place during the baseball season, so the Chronicle may not have covered it, but it did get a certain amount of publicity, and the basic idea was that a bunch of us nations, the good guys, would get together on a joint nuclear deterrent force, including our current friends, like France, and our traditional friends, like Germany. Here's a song about that called the MLF Lullaby. Sleep, baby, sleep, in peace may you slumber. No danger lurks, your sleep to encumber. We've got the missiles, peace to determine, and one of the fingers on the button will be German. Why shouldn't they have nuclear warheads? England says no, but they all are soreheads. I say a bygone should be a bygone. Let's make peace the way we did in Stanleyville and Saigon. Once all the Germans were warlike and mean, but that couldn't happen again. We taught them a lesson in 1918, and they've hardly bothered us since then. So sleep well, my darling, the Sandman can linger. We know our buddies won't give us the finger. Heil, hail the Wehrmacht, I mean the Bundeswehr. Hail to our loyal ally. MLF will scare Brezhnev. I hope he is half as scared as I. During the last election, we had a good deal of fun back east following your senatorial contest out here. I'm from Massachusetts, and I feel we have a certain right to gloat over the other states because Massachusetts is, after all, the only state with 3 senators. Anyway.
Wait, 33 to 843 says this one.
Hollywood's often tried to mix show business with politics. From Helen Gahagan to Ronald Reagan. But Mr. Murphy is the star who's done the best by far. Oh, gee, it's great. At last we've got a senator who can really sing and dance. We can't expect America to win against its foes with no one in the Senate who can really tap his toes. The movies that you've seen on your television screen show his legislative talents at a glance. Should Americans pick crops? George says no, 'cause no one but a Mexican would stoop so low. And after all, even in Egypt, the pharaohs had to import Hebrew braceros. Think of all the musicals we have in store. Imagine Broadway Melody of 1984. Yes, now that he's a senator, he's really got the chance to give the public a song and dance. One type of song that has come into increasing prominence in recent months is the folk song of protest. You have to admire people who sing these songs. It takes a certain amount of courage to get up in a coffee house or a college auditorium and come out in favor of the things that everybody else in the audience is against, like peace and justice and brotherhood and so on. But the nicest thing about a protest song is that it makes you feel so good. I have a song here which I realize should be accompanied on a folk instrument, in which category the piano does not, alas, qualify. So imagine, if you will, that I am playing an 88-string guitar. Oh, we are the folk song army. Every one of us cares. We all hate poverty, war, and injustice, unlike the rest of you squares. There are innocuous folk songs, yeah, but we regard them with scorn. The folks who sing them have no social conscience. Why? They don't even care if Jimmy cracked corn. If you feel dissatisfaction, strum your frustrations away. Some people may prefer action, but give me a folk song any old day. The tune don't have to be clever, and it don't matter if you put a couple extra syllables into a line. It sounds more ethnic if it ain't good English, and it don't even gotta rhyme. Excuse me, rhyme. Remember the war against Franco? That's the kind where each of us belongs. Though he may have won all the battles, we had all the good songs. So join in the folk song army. Guitars are the weapons we bring to the fight against poverty, war, and injustice. Ready, aim, sing. I do have a cause, though. It is obscenity. I'm for it. Thank you. Unfortunately, the civil liberties types who are fighting this issue have to fight it owing to the nature of the laws as a matter of freedom of speech and stifling of free expression and so on. But we know what's really involved. Dirty books are fun. That's all there is to it. But you can't get up in the court and say that, I suppose. It's simply a matter of freedom of pleasure, a right which is not guaranteed by the Constitution, unfortunately. Anyway, since people seem to be marching for their causes these days, I have here a march for mine. It's called Smut. Give me smut and nothing but a dirty novel I can't shut. If it's
Time to download a 4-hour video.
I've never quibbled if it was ribbled.
Because it's
Where others merely nibbled as the judge
that large.
that he acquitted my Aunt Hortense. To be smut, it must be utterly
Okay, get the character that best describes your gender since you're epic and you deserve it. Okay.
the graphic pictures I adore.
Yeah, this thing is over 600 megabytes.
I like them more.
So sorry if my stream gets a little bit slow.
Bring on the obscene movies, murals, postcards, neckties, samplers, stained glass windows, tattoos, anything. More, I'm still not satisfied. Stories of tortures used by debauchers.
In the meantime, I shall update the times hit film was frozen or crashed.
Make me smile.
Because it's frozen at least once.
Novels that pander to my taste for candor give me a pleasure sublime. Let's face it, I love slime. All books can be indecent books, though recent books are bolder. For filth, I'm glad to say, is in the mind of the beholder. When correctly viewed, everything is lewd. I can tell you about Peter Pan and the Wizard of Oz. There's a dirty old man.
There we go.
I thrill to any book like Fanny Hill, and I suppose I always will, if it is swill and really fill the who needs a hobby like tennis or philately. I've got a hobby.
Elsa has invaded my editing software. Alas, no.
To take it all away from us unless we take a stand, and hand in hand we fight for freedom of the press. In other words, smut. I love it. The adventures of a slut. Oh, I'm a market they can't glut. I don't know what compares with smut. Hip hip hooray, let's hear it for the Supreme Court. Don't let them take it away. What with President Johnson practicing escalatio on the Vietnamese, and then the Dominican crisis on top of that, it has been a nervous year, and people have begun to feel like a Christian Scientist with appendicitis. Fortunately, in times of crisis like this, America always has its #1 instrument of diplomacy to fall back on. Here's a song about it.
It's going to take ages to conform the audio, isn't it?
When someone makes a move of which we don't approve, who is it that always intervenes? UN and OAS, they have their place, I guess. But first, send the Marines. We'll send them all we've got. John Wayne and Randolph Scott. Remember those exciting fighting scenes? To the shores of Tripoli, but not to Mississippi. What do? We send the Marines, for might makes right. Until they've seen the light, they've got to be protected, all their rights respected, till somebody we like can be elected. Members of the Corps all hate the thought of war. They'd rather kill them off by peaceful means. Stop calling it aggression. Ooh, we hate that expression. We only want the world to know that we support the status quo. They love us everywhere we go, so when in doubt, send the Marines. Time was when an American about to go abroad would be warned by his friends or the guidebooks not to drink the water. But times have changed, and now a foreigner coming to this country might be offered the following advice. If you visit American City, you will find it very pretty. Just two things of which you must beware. Don't drink the water and don't breathe the air. Pollution, pollution. They got smog and sewage and mud. Turn on your tap and get hot and cold running crud. See the halibuts and the sturgeons being wiped out by detergents. Fish gotta swim and birds gotta fly. but they don't last long if they try. Pollution, pollution, you can use the latest toothpaste and then rinse your mouth with industrial waste. Just go out for a breath of air and you'll be ready for Medicare. The city streets are really quite a thrill. If the hoods don't get you, the monoxide will. Pollution, pollution, wear a gas mask and a veil. Then you can breathe, long as you don't inhale. Lots of things there that you can drink, but stay away from the kitchen sink. The breakfast garbage that you throw into the bay. They drink at lunch in San Jose, so go to the city, see the crazy people there, like lambs to the slaughter. They're drinking the water and breathing the air. This year we've been celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Civil War, and the 50th anniversary of the beginning of World War I, and the 20th anniversary of the end of World War II. So all in all, it's been a good year for the war buffs. And a number of LPs and television specials have come out capitalizing on all this nostalgia with particular emphasis on the songs of the various wars. I feel that if any songs are going to come out of World War III, we better start writing them now. I have one here. I might call it a bit of pre-nostalgia. This is the song that some of the boys sang as they went bravely off to World War III. So long, Mom, I'm off to drop the bomb, so don't wait up for me. But while you swelter down there in your shelter, you can see me on your TV. While we're attacking frontally, watch Brinkley and Huntley describing contrapuntally the cities we have lost. No need for you to miss a minute of the agonizing Holocaust. Yeah! Little Johnny Jones, he was a U.S. pilot, and no shrinking violet was he. He was mighty proud when World War III was declared. He wasn't scared, no siree. And this is what he said on his way to Armageddon. So long, Mom, I'm off to drop the bomb, so don't wait up for me. But though I may roam, I'll come back to my home, although it may be a pile of debris. Remember, Mommy, I'm off to get a commie, so send me a salami and try to smile somehow. I'll look for you when the war is over, an hour and a half from now. I wonder how many people here tonight remember Hubert Humphrey. He used to be a senator. From time to time you read something about him pinning a medal on somebody or making a speech, or every now and then you read something in one of those "Where Are They Now" columns. Whatever became of Deanna Durbin and Hubert Humphrey and so on. This became quite an issue last winter at the time of Winston Churchill's funeral, when President Johnson was too ill to go and somebody suggested that he send Hubert, and he said, "Hubert who?" And all America was singing, "Whatever became of Hubert? Has anyone heard a thing? Once he shone on his own, now he sits home alone and waits for the phone to ring. Once a fiery liberal spirit, but now when he speaks, he must clear it. Second fiddle's a hard part, I know, when they don't even give you a bow.
impact, actually.
Someone once remarked to Schubert, take us to your leader. Sorry about that. Whatever became of you, Hubert? We miss you, so tell us, please. Are you sad? Are you cross? Are you gathering moss while you wait for the boss to sneeze? Does Lyndon, recalling when he was VP, say, I'll do unto you like they did unto me? Do you dream about staging a coup? Hubert, what happened to you? Some of you who have small children may have perhaps been put in the embarrassing position of being unable to do your child's arithmetic homework because of the current revolution in mathematics teaching known as the new math. So as a public service here tonight, I thought I would offer a brief lesson in the new math. Tonight, we're going to cover subtraction. This is the first room I've worked for a while. It didn't have a blackboard, so we will have to make do with more primitive visual aids, as they say in the ed biz. Consider the following subtraction problem, which I will put up here. 342 minus 173. Now, remember how we used to do that. 3 from 2 is 9, carry the 1, and if you're under 35 or went to a private school, you say 7 from 3 is 6, but if you're over 35 and went to a public school, you say 8 from 4 is 6. And carry the 1, so we have 169. But in the new approach, as you know, the important thing is to understand what you're doing rather than to get the right answer. Here's how they do it now. You can't take 3 from 2. 2 is less than 3, so you look at the 4 in the tens place. Now that's really 4 tens, so you make it 3 tens, regroup, and you change a 10 to 10 ones, and you add them to the 2 and get 12, and you take away 3, that's 9. Is that clear? Now instead of 4 in the tens place, you've got 3 because you added 1, that is to say 10 to the 2, but you can't take 7 from 3, so you look in the hundreds place. From the 3, you then use 1 to make 10 ones, and you know why 4 plus minus 1 plus 10 is 14 minus 1 plus addition.
Hello, 2070 Wilson.
Right, and so you got 13 tens, and you take away 7, and that leaves 5. Well, 6 actually, but the idea is the important thing. Now go back to the hundreds place. You're left with 2, and you take away 1 from 2, and that leaves. Everybody get 1? Not bad for the first day. Hooray for new math! New math. It won't do you a bit of good to review math. It's so simple, so very simple, that only a child can do it. Now that actually is not the answer that I had in mind, because the book that I got this problem out of wants you to do it in base 8. But don't panic. Base 8 is just like base 10, really, if you're missing 2 fingers. Shall we have a go at it? Hang on. You can't take 3 from 2. 2 is less than 3, so you look at the 4 in the 8's place. Now that's really 4 8s, so you make it 3 8s, regroup, and you change an 8 to 8 ones, and you add to the 2, and you get 1 base 8, which is 10 base 10, and you take away 3, that's 7. Okay? Now instead of 4 in the 8's place, you've got 3 because you added 1, that is to say 8 to the 2, but you can't take 7 from 3, so you look at the 64s. 64. How did 64 get into it? I hear you cry. Well, 64 is 8 squared, don't you see? Well, you ask a silly question, you get a silly answer. From the 3, you then use 1 to make 8 ones. You add those ones to the 3, and you get 1 free base 8, or in other words, in base 10, you have 11, and you take away 7, and 7 from 11 is 4. Now go back to the 64s. You're left with 2, and you take away 1 from 2, and that leaves. Now let's not always see the same hands. 1, that's right. Whoever got 1 can stay after the show and clean the erasers. Hooray for new math! New math. It won't do you a bit of good to review math. It's so simple, so very simple, that only a child can do it. Come back tomorrow night. We're gonna do fractions.
Actually, these two, I'll improvise.
Now, I've often thought I'd like to write a mathematics textbook someday because I have a title that I know will sell 1 million copies. I'm going to call it Tropic of Calculus.
Shouldn't take long.
December 13th, there appeared in the newspapers the juiciest, spiciest, raciest obituary it has ever been my pleasure to read. It was that of a lady named Alma Mahler Gropius Werfel, who had, in her lifetime, managed to acquire as lovers practically all of the top creative men in Central Europe. And among these lovers, who were listed in the obituary, by the way, which is what made it so interesting, there were 3 whom she went so far as to marry. One of the leading composers of the day, Gustav Mahler, composer of Das Lied von der Erde and other light classics.
Let's do this again.
Architects, Walter Gropius of the Bauhaus School of Design, and one of the leading writers, Franz Werfel, author of The Song of Bernadette and other masterpieces. It's people like that who make you realize how little you've accomplished. It is a sobering thought, for example, that when Mozart was my age, he had been dead for 2 years. It seemed to me, on reading this obituary, that the story of Alma was the stuff of which ballads should be made, so here is one. The loveliest girl in Vienna was Alma, the smartest as well. Once you picked her up on your antenna, you'd never be free of her spell. Her lovers were many and varied. From the day she began her bigging, there were 3 famous ones whom she married, and God knows how many between. Alma, tell us, all modern women are jealous. Which of your magical wands got you Gustav and Walter and Franz? The first one she married was Mahler, whose buddies all knew him as Gustav, and each time he saw her he'd holler, "Ach, that is the Fräulein I must have." Their marriage, however, was murder. He'd scream to the heavens above, "I'm writing das Lied von der Erde, and she only wants to make love." Alma, tell us, all modern women are jealous. You should have a statue in bronze for bagging Gustav and Walter and Franz. While married to Gus, she met Gropius, and soon she was swinging with Walter. Gus died and her teardrops were copious. She cried all the way to the altar, but he would work late.
Where's the elements? We've already had that one.
And only came home now and then. She said, "What am I running? A chow house? It's time to change partners again." Alma, tell us, all modern women are jealous. Though you didn't even use puns, you got Gustav and Walter and Franz. While married to Walt, she'd met Werfel, and he too was caught in her net.
Error.
He married her, but he was careful, 'cause Alma was no Bernadette. And that is the story of Alma, who knew how to receive and to give. The body that reached her embalmer was one that had known how to live. Alma, tell us, how can they help being jealous? Ducks always envy the swans who get Gustav and Walter. You never did falter with Gustav and Walter and Franz.
Here we go. This is not my new face cam. This is Guru Larry.
I know some people feel that marriage as an institution is dying out, but I disagree, and the point was driven home to me rather forcefully not long ago by a letter I received, which said, "Darling, I love you and I cannot live without you. Marry me or I will kill myself." Well, I was a little disturbed at that until I took another look at the envelope, and and saw that it was addressed to occupant. Speaking of love, one problem that recurs more and more frequently these days in books and plays and movies is the inability of people to communicate with the people they love. Husbands and wives who can't communicate, children who can't communicate with their parents, and so on. And the characters in these books and plays and so on, and in real life, I might add, spend hours bemoaning the fact that they can't communicate. I feel that if a person can't communicate, the very least he can do is to shut up. One of the big news items of the past year concerned the fact that China, which we call Red China, exploded a nuclear bomb, which we called a device. Then Indonesia announced that it was going to have one soon, and proliferation became the word of the day. Here's a song about that. First we got the bomb, and that was good, 'cause we love peace and motherhood. Then Russia got the bomb, but that's okay, 'cause the balance of power's maintained that way. Who's next? France got the bomb, but don't you grieve, 'cause they're on our side, I believe. China got the bomb, but have no fears. They can't wipe us out for at least 5 years. Who's next? Then Indonesia claimed that they were gonna get one any day. South Africa wants two, that's right. One for the black and one for the white. Who's next? Egypt's gonna get one too, just to use on you know who. So Israel's getting tense, wants one in self-defense. The Lord's our shepherd, says the psalm, but just in case, we better get a bomb. Who's next? Luxembourg is next to go, and who knows, maybe Monaco. We'll try to stay serene and calm when Alabama gets the bomb. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? And what is it that put America in the forefront of the nuclear nations? And what is it that will make it possible to spend $20 billion of your money to put some clown on the moon? Well, it was good old American know-how, that's what. As provided by good old Americans like Dr. Werner von Braun. Gather round while I sing you of Werner von Braun, a man whose allegiance is ruled by expedience. Call him a Nazi, he won't even frown. Nazi schmatzi, says Werner von Braun. Don't say that he's hypocritical, say rather that he's apolitical. Once the rockets are up, who cares where they come down? That's not my department, says Werner von Braun. Some have harsh words for this man of renown, but some think our attitude should be one of gratitude, like the widows and cripples in old London town, who owe their large pensions to Werner von Braun. You too may be a big hero, once you've learned to count backwards to zero. In German or English, I know how to count down. And I'm learning Chinese, says Werner von Braun. Another big news story of the year concerned the Ecumenical Council in Rome, known as Vatican II. Among the things they did, in an attempt to make the church more commercial, was to introduce the vernacular into portions of the Mass to replace Latin, and to widen somewhat the range of music permissible in the liturgy. But I feel that if they really want to sell the product in this secular age, do is to redo some of the liturgical music in popular song forms. I have a modest example here. It's called the Vatican Rag. First you get down on your knees, fiddle with your rosaries, bow your head with great respect and genuflect, genuflect, genuflect. Do whatever steps you want if you have cleared them with the pontiff. Everybody say his own Kyrie eleison, doing the Vatican Rag. Get in line in that processional, step into that small confessional. There the guy who's got religion'll tell you if your sin's original. If it is, try playing it safer. Drink the wine and chew the wafer. 2, 4, 6, 8. Time to transubstantiate. So get down upon your knees, fiddle with your rosaries, bow your head with great respect and genuflect, genuflect, genuflect. Make a cross on your abdomen. When in Rome, do like a Roman. Ave Maria, gee, it's good to see you. Getting ecstatic and sort of dramatic and doing the Vatican Rag. You're wearing your squeaky shoes, and right there taking a snooze is a tiger. So how do you walk on by? Silently, silently, silent. L-Y. You're a secret agent man who's after the secret plan. How do you act so they don't know you're a spy? Normally, normal, L-Y. At an eating contest, you boast that you can eat the most. How do you down your 50th piece of pie? Eagerly, eager, L-Y. On the lake, your boat upset, and your clothes got soaking wet. How do you stand and wait for them to dry? Patiently, patiently, patient, L-Y. In the public library, you fall and hurt your knee, but the sign says quiet please, so how can you cry? Quietly, quietly, quiet, L-Y. As you walk along the street, a porcupine you meet. How do you shake his hand when he says hi? Carefully, carefully, careful, L-Y. You enter a very dark room, and sitting there in the gloom is Dracula. Now how do you say goodbye? Immediately, immediately, immediate L-Y. Bye-bye. Who can turn a can into a cane? Who can turn a pen into a pain? It's not too hard to see, it's silent E. Who can turn a cub into a cube? Who can turn a tub into a tube? It's elementary for silent E. He took a pin and turned it into a pine. He took a twin and turned him into twine. Who can turn a cap into a cape? Who can turn a tap into a tape? A little glob becomes a globe instantly if you just add silent E. He turned a damn
ones. I'm just going to export this as is now. But I'm going to quickly hide this. I'm going to put bless you too on this side of the screen.
Quiet hound. I don't bark or run around. I just lie here on the ground with my head upon this mound. No one knows where I can be found.
I guess I'll do it when my CPU's not, you know, preoccupied with OBS. I'd say that's quite, you know, today has been quite, you know, productive. I've managed to edit one segment.
I don't dare make a sound.
Right, I'll have to claim that back later. Let me just find someone who's streaming right now. So we can do a little raid.
Like a rooster loves a hen, like a lion loves his den, like Barbie loves Ken. I love to do things that begin with SN. For example, I love to sneeze. Pardon me, please. I like to sniffle, it really feels nice. One handkerchief'll just never suffice. But brother, watch out for the breeze when I sneeze. I love to sniff. Just take a whiff. I also like snarling, it feels good to me. Snarling is darling, I'm sure you.
Yeah, I'm probably going to end it now.
But I'm even happier if I can
No, this audio does not belong to someone else.
and sneeze. I love to snore. It's more like a roar. I like to snooze, I like resting my
Redirect who's streaming
I
right
take
now.
off my shoes and I snuggle in bed. Sometimes I just lie on the floor and snore and sniff and sneeze.
Let's raid someone new.
Sometimes I just like
So,
to snicker
see you next time, guys.
or
Ta-ta!
snub any snob who is